Hello and welcome to some Nebulous Fleet Command gameplay. What I got for you today is a 1v1 on Sakata. This is a mod map, one of my favorites personally, one of the better maps I think for 1v1s. So because we're just one player on each team, we're going to be running double fleet sizes, so 6k on each team. And we got the Warden Sticks coming in. That's my flagship. Everything Nebulous burns in backwards. I'll do a little bit of explaining just for people who may not be super familiar with the game. So this fleet here, I took my best 3k point offensive fleet and combined it with my best 3k point support fleet. What you're looking at right now is part of the support fleet. These are my Elant Corvettes. So they, the name of the game with them is they run radars off. Their goal the whole game is to never be seen. And as you can just see with that purple line there, that purple track that just showed up, they can pick up radar signals at up to 14 kilometers away, which is the longest radar system in the game. So they make great scouts, great for figuring out the position of the enemy, so long as, you know, they don't get seen. And mine are also carrying 6 heavy missiles apiece, just to do a little bit of work with. As far as what else I've got that I'm bringing, it's the Bringer Malarkey there, heading into my natural cap point C. And that's going to be a torpedo light cruiser. Bush King here is a pretty naked beam DD. It runs 2 focused particle accelerators, so its beam hurts quite a lot, and has an intelligence center, so it is analyzing the tracks I get throughout the match and feeding back intelligence to all the rest of my ships. And what it does, because it's otherwise pretty slow and shitty as a ship, is it's going to hide. It's going to hide in that little dimple in the rock. It's going to guard my natural point, which you'll see will come in handy later. So as far as that really covers the support fleet that I'm running here, and the main offensive fleet that I'm running is the Warden Sticks, which you can see is number 1 here. And a lot of the parts I fast forward through here are just positioning. There's a fair bit of positioning in this game, which you know, isn't the most fun to watch. You might have saw a little early missile go by me there, nothing happened, so I didn't bother to record that at normal speed. We'll see some more missile volleys later. But so with the Warden Sticks and Sharon and Kratos, they're an offensive group. They have a heavy gun CH with a lot of ammo elevators, so it can really just pump out 450mm shells. And those do a lot of good damage. And then it's got 2 frigates that fly alongside it, and this is my scout missile. But those 2 frigates each carry E-War, counter E-War, and a variety of missiles. So you can see here my early scouting missiles launched from my Corvette, right? And it's sweeping with its radar, and then that purple cone you see is the electro-optical validator, so that missile had a camera on it. They pop chaff, because of course you want to pop chaff when missiles show up no matter what. But that wouldn't have mattered because that missile has a little electronic eye. And then there you can see, it looks like I've taken out that gun, although I'm sure they can repair it once they fix the atmospheric fire that I've caused in the compartment. So I noticed that the Sticks group is spotted here, so I go to jam what I figure is spotting me, and we have a track up there. And it is, you can figure out pretty quickly it's a Corvette. It drops off the block of Sticks pretty quickly as it goes to hide behind the rock. But in the meantime, I was setting it up there for a missile strike. And here we have one more failed missile attempt around the rock for Sticks, so it's pretty clear he knows where I am. And then that missile attempt missed, unfortunately. It's pretty clear he knows where Sticks is, but Sticks has the PD to easily handle any kind of volley that's been thrown at it thus far. So here I'm kind of screwing up. I was trying to stop an ACAP, this middle point here.
Go ahead, Command.
And I was targeting the CL though, which was past A, right? So you have to be really careful playing in 3D. It can be a bit of a learning curve, and then still with 1,500 hours in this game, it still messes with me sometimes. So Here's another attempt at this Scout Corvette, and that's a solid hit. And I'm looking right now at its what it has mounted, because that gives a lot of critical intel. And based on the fact that that had no mounts, I'm almost certain that's a Spyglass Corvette. It's running all internal radar acquisition systems, as opposed to my Corvettes, which really only run external. They do have their own inbuilt radar, but I never turn it on. I run off the Eland and then their bullseyes. So I have a good lock now on that frigate that's just captured A, but that's not going to matter because he's getting away. And 450 shells are actually so big, a lot of them are just going to go straight through him and punch holes instead of exploding inside of him and doing proper damage. You saw another little missile attempt there, and before I could even swing the screen over to look at it, my ship had handled it. Auroras and Defenders make pretty good work of almost anything. And here I to bring our Malarkey, my Torp Seal out, and I'm like, oh, I'm spotted, I don't want to be spotted, so I went back in, and then I'm like, you know, they don't have, they're not going to be able to kill me fast enough if I cross that gap. I'm a fast as hell CL. So I decided to cross it. And up here, I'm just wondering what else they have, because I've seen so far, there are 2 CLs, a Corvette and a frigate, and that's that battle group on screen right now. And then we have this Corvette flying around high. That's not quite 6,000 points, at least by my estimation. So I know there's something else around here. So I decided to kind of use my missiles to scan the top of the big rock. And then here I'm getting spotted, and I think, oh, this goddamn Corvette's still alive. And I lose its track, but that's fine because I knew where it was. And I prep a missile for it. And this is my scout missile, which, in retrospect, I angled it pretty poorly. It's going to hit the rock instead of sailing over the top of that big hamburger patty up there. It's not quite what I intended, but there's a lot of misplays, a lot of sloppy plays in this compared to my normal gameplay, just due to the fact that I'm running twice as many ships as I'm used to. I'm essentially handling all the fleet's roles as opposed to one dedicated role, which is what you're normally doing in Nebulous gameplay, given that most games are played in teams of 4, where each player brings 3,000 fleet points. So there you saw my scout missile blow up on the rock for a split second there. No, at least we know there's nothing in that front side of the rock, nothing that's going to get super close, otherwise it would have seen it and fired on it. And here, as soon as the purple cone is met, EO validates, and there goes my missile at 927 meters a second. That was a bow hit, which is not usually the best with a Corvette, but it was its 3rd heavy missile strike, and there's not a Corvette in the world that can take that many missile strikes. Or that many heavy missile strikes. And I know some people that will challenge me on that, but I don't care. Here, see, the one weakness of the Warden Sticks is that all its PD is built to one side. And that was taken advantage of there, and here I did manage to do a pretty sick dodge on most of those missiles, but with how they came out, the only way I could have defended against them is my anti-missile missiles, and those need to be illuminated by Sharon or Kratos. So with that in mind, I didn't divert my illuminators or anything off of the task at hand, because I knew they were going to have a real tough time illuminating my AMMs, or my anti-missile missiles, based on the trajectory of those incoming missiles. So I just decided to eat them, which is fine. You know, they're just explosives, heavy explosives. They're not kinetic penetrators. So they can damage a heavy ship like a CH or a BB, but they're never going to outright kill it. They can take it down to 0%, they can red out the component, but it can always be repaired without using any of your restores. So I'm not too scared of those missiles with sticks. We got a little engagement going on here, but it's not a very interesting one. They can see me through jamming because I'm big, but only the Warden Sticks. They can't see my E-War ships, Sharon and Kratos. They can't really stop my E-War. But both of us in this situation, neither of us really like where we are, I don't think. So we're both moving out of here, kind of on the retreat. And I'm just going to fast forward through the rest of this little engagement, because it's just, 2 people shooting at each other as they both run from each other, which is not the most engaging gameplay, I would say. So I noticed this up here, and this is answering my question from earlier of what is going to make up the difference. You know, that he had a light gunship fleet, he's had a scout, and that's all I've seen. That doesn't make up the whole 6k points, right? Or at least unless he's building in questionable, you know, something or others. Words escape me. Questionable tenants. There we go. But so I want to know what this is. So I'll spend like 30 points on this missile to find out. I should probably give those scouts some dedicated scouting missiles that don't cost so much. I think that'd be a good way to further optimize this fleet. But as it was, I had these nice expensive big boys. At least I'm carrying 12 of them on my 2 Corvettes. So I figured I'd give it a shot, see what's out there, and whatever's out there had some flak. Either some flak or some 120 HERPF. I couldn't quite tell with this time looking at it. So I know something's up there, but that's good because it means it's not, elsewhere. And I figure that's probably the last ship in his fleet. But he here is kind of forced to make an A press because of my earlier capture of A, right? So he has a few more points than me still, 4. And I now, though, have 2/3 of the capture points. So I am currently on track to win, so he's pretty much forced to make a play for one of the capture points. I think he's actually making a play for both of them at the moment. But this is what I see first. It's this little frigate making a essentially Hail Mary, desperate attempt at capturing A, because A really has, as with most points in the game, pretty bad cover, or at least with most capture zones in the game, pretty bad cover. It has a little bit of situational cover. Nothing that's going to save this frigate from me, though. That is for sure. So I'm pelting it with HE, and it's not taking super well. It does have some anti-missile missiles. A lot of those missed. And then my Illuminator missiles they get a little bit wonky with this active decoy he threw back here. 2 of them missed, but I get 6 out of 8 hits, and I toast that frigate. So that is no longer capping. I got to keep my point, which is critical. This game doesn't have a whole lot longer in it because there's only 3 capture points. I have it set to 500 point maximum. So here I was kind of worried, like, maybe some of these missiles will be scarier. Like maybe he's finally got some hybrids to launch at me, because I was pretty exposed here and he had a very good idea of where I was, so it would have been a very safe time to attempt a hybrid strike. So I threw on my AMMs, but then they were just the same missiles I've been seeing all game, and my point defense just routed them before my AMMs could even reach. So poor AMMs get a horrible efficiency rating for this match. So here, what I do is, this guy's still up there, and I'm really curious. I'm what the hell is he, right? So I set up what I call like a lock trap, and as soon as this ship, whatever it is, comes within 9 kilometers of my little Corvette down there, it will get locked. And that doesn't necessarily do anything on its own. I mean, of course, I can follow up on the lock, but really what that does is it spooks people. No one likes being locked. When you get locked in this game, you assume, for good reason, and with a lot of backing evidence, that you're about to take some fire. So here, bring up Malarkey, that's been waltzing around, skulking around, menacingly, is finally close enough. It's gotten close enough while in cover to make an attempt on this Vauxhall here, this light cruiser. And I actually, this is probably one of the sloppiest plays I pull here in this whole game. So aside from the fact that he's headed very quickly to the rock, and those torpedoes aren't going to hit, I failed to hold them after inputting. I tried to, input 2 volleys as 2 separate commands instead of, holding first or something more simple. But I managed to hold for a second, get into a good position on these CLs, or this CL and its 2 Corvettes, and I let them rip. And then I also unfortunately still had those 6 torpedoes loaded that was supposed to go for that other CL, and they lost their target. So now they're just flying randomly, which kind of works because it distracts their PD. So now we got 1 torpedo, 2, 3, 4 torpedo hits on that CL, a 5th, and we're looking at torpedo hits. 2 torpedo hits on one of those corvettes. It's going to be dead. A 6 torpedo hit on that CL. And in the meantime, Bush King is going to see some action. I noticed Bush King was spotted. That's very bad news generally, but luckily I did enough damage to this light cruiser earlier that it is not going to be able to harm me. Right? It doesn't have functional weapon systems after, you know, the missiles I kind of launched at it and the 450 fire it took. Even kind of glancing blows seem to have really done a number on it. So here, I continue to fuck up my micro, but I end up shooting this thing with a beam, just kind of giving it the old zip zap. And meanwhile, I'm getting shot with a beam by what I've found out is a missile CH, or at least mostly missile CH. It's carrying some other stuff too, I think, obviously that beam. So you can see the life pods coming out of that Corvette down there that I killed. And then I'm just firing 4 HEC-P, what I call executioners, back at that CL, just because these torpedoes are high explosive, so they have trouble actually killing the components. They can do a lot of damage to the component, but they have trouble, like, permanently ending it, which is what these little cheap HEC-Ps are for. Not that they really do much. There they go. Woo! Whoopsie daisy, all over the place. Oh well. So yeah, those weren't the best. But in the meantime, I am shooting all of these torpedoes over here, and then those the missiles I sent from my scouts. I had my scouts missile dump into that CL and its 2 escorts, and a number of those hit. Looks like I got 4 hits of the 6 missiles I dumped when they showed up. So Bush King is, you know, still firing on this CL here, but it's in view of this CH, who is going to hit him with some missiles for sure. Luckily, it's not a crippling blow. I lose a component and not a whole lot else. I can still beam, I can still move, and I'm moving into C to retake C because now not only does he have my natural point C, he is also capturing A, which puts me in a very dangerous situation. As while I'm up by 28 points right now, if he has all of the points captured, there's only 100 points left in the game, so I will very quickly lose if I allow this situation to continue. So I bring out the heavy missiles here. I launched my size 3 hybrid HEC-Ps in an attempt to just gut this heavy cruiser up here. In the meantime, I gotta get people moving, right? I gotta get my main battle group into A, don't tell mom, heading back for his natural, and then hiding seeker coming in on my natural. That was just in case Bush King died. Although Bush King's making it. Bush King is surviving. You know, not elegantly, but he's there. And so, if you see in the bottom left, my HEC-Ps missed. It skimmed the rock and died. So you can see my screening shots, my screening illuminator missiles, right? They're just 4-point cheapo size 2s. They're headed in, but my actual, killers missed. But the S2s actually do a fair bit of work here. You can see them, not nearly as many of them got shot down as I'm used to seeing. So I guess that ship probably just wasn't made for PD. You can see Bush King firing. This is almost entirely an intimidation tactic. I'm just wiggling my beam at him to try and get him to back away, and I think he was already backing away, but if he wasn't before, that definitely helped him out. I didn't expect to do any damage or anything at this range. It was just like, raw beam, fear me. So I got the real HEC-Ps, well, not the real HEC-Ps, but the second attempt at the HEC-Ps off, and it didn't hit the rock this time, thank God. Meanwhile, my main battle group is coming into A to slaughter what has stolen A from me. And here we see my Gooniers make good. and we get two really beautiful Hecky strikes, not quite a stern to bow or anything. I guess he was
We're reading
rotating,
you.
but it went straight through his kind of main armor chamber and then straight through the bow.
Awaiting orders,
And
Commander.
that really leaves nowhere
Understood.
for
Jamming
a
hostile fire
command and
in.
control center to be that
Clear the
wasn't
march.
damaged. So that
Repositioning.
ship popped its klaxons, and I knew it was dead. And this about wraps up the match because I essentially forced my enemy to overextend
Aye, aye.
in capping these points as a desperate attempt to secure the game. And when they did so, I took advantage of the weaknesses in the push and kind of dismantled them. But anyway, that is some Nebulous Fleet Command gameplay. I think it's a great game. I'd love to see more players in it. It's just a really good time. There's no game quite like it. No other game that makes me feel quite like a you know a space captain. But anyway, if you you can pause somewhere in here, look through the after game stats if that's your shtick. Otherwise, I will see you at an indeterminate time next time I make a video.